Hello and welcome to this video for today, whether you're here for the first time or you're returning. Hope you will enjoy. Hey there guys, in this video today, if you haven't seen the news that's been around, it's been absolutely everywhere. The fact that Hullbreacher is now banned in Commander, yep, it's one of those big things that, has happened. And again, it's always one of these things about news. It travels very quickly. I wanted to do something about this. I didn't quite know what to do, and it is quite hard, really, for me to do it because, again, news travels fast, and there's a lot of really great content creators out there who do a lot of this stuff and, are very, very, good at doing this stuff. And the thing is, it is hard for me to get, reactionary stuff out there for the most part. It's easier for me to do these sort of summary style stuff or more do stuff that I plan to do more so. I really need a fair amount of time to sort of, get things together, record things, edit things, cut them together. And look, again, even with the fair amount of work that I do to some of this stuff, yeah, I still use Microsoft Paint or whatnot or whatever that I can use, or actual legit images from wizards or from promotional material or whatever. I use all that stuff just so that I can put something there and something on the screen and whatnot. That's all I can do really right now. I am still in the process of learning how to do all this stuff, but again, I want to talk more about Hullbreacher and what the ramifications are. But again, I just want to say this little piece here, and I know not too many people really, care that much. But again, this is just my little rant, I suppose, to a degree, about this whole thing. I try to do the best that I can do, and I try to do the best that I can do for you guys. That is it. That's it. No, that's the bottom line. All I do is, this is an interest that I have, and I have an opinion on this, this game and this format that we play, and not everyone's going to agree with it. I don't care if anyone agrees or disagrees. I'm just putting my, piece out there to say, hey, think about this. That's it, or does this help somebody? I hope it does. That's it. But again, in these reactionary things, it's very hard, again, for me specifically, at least, to get this content and whatnot, this very quick reactionary content out there to something like this, because, again, news travels incredibly fast, and it's one of those things that, again, as I said, it does take a lot of work to get this sort of stuff done. So, but anyway, right, back to our main topic, Hullbreacher. It's gone, it's out of here, and look, I don't think, for the most part, there's too many people that are mad, honestly. Yes, there's a section of the community that's sort of saying, well, why didn't they ban, Narset? Why didn't they why didn't they ban Opposition Agent? Or why didn't they ban, not Opposition Agent, whatever it is, Notion Thief. Why didn't they ban Notion Thief? Why didn't they ban Narset? Why didn't they ban this? Why didn't they ban that? Because they're very similar cards, and the RC and the Rules Committee and whatnot did say that, they've got their eye on these cards and that they will, keep monitoring them. The thing is, these cards, at least like Notion Thief, has been in the format along with Wheels for a very long time, and we know how powerful it is, and we know that, again, Narset Planeswalker is quite strong, But again, I get why they said, well, Narset can be attacked, but that is only if there's actually stuff on the field. Like, I've seen this happen like a few times, especially in certain more powerful decks that just sort of play their entire hand and just sort of, again, refill, and then they disrupt everyone else, basically sending them back to having no hands and no way to get, cards realistically in the game. So it's just one of those things, like the Teferi's puzzle box lock and things like that as well. That's a constant wheel, and it just sets everyone back to zero. And the person who has, all the cards in hand has all the options. So again, that person can very easily wrath, very easily. And again, that's how it just becomes like, well, that person has theoretically won. That whole, well, they've theoretically won, but they haven't won. And this is my problem with cards like this. It's always just like, well, now what does the game become? Now the game becomes a game of solitaire, and you're waiting there for somebody to say, oh, well, here's my actual way of actually killing everyone or whatever. It's not like you guys are actually dead, but the game is over for you guys because you can't draw cards and you can't get back in the game and you can't answer what I'm doing. So now the game's just over, and I will win maybe in the next few months. Who knows? Let's see. Yeah. That's my problem with it or whatnot. And that's what I think a lot of people's problem was with these cards. And I think it's so hard to say, in the CDH meta and whatnot, it might be one of those things that it's not any more powerful than anything else or whatnot, but in the more casual meta, it is much more of a sort of problem, which is what they sort of said about it. They said that this is more of a problem for more casual play, and more of saying, well, it's more important for the people that are going onto online games or whatnot, webcam games, Modo, these sorts of things for the first time or in the early stages of their Magic career or Magic life or whatever, and just like getting into a game with a bunch of strangers and saying, okay, let's sleeve up and play, and then somebody's like, oh, cool, this and this and this, and now no one can play. Again, I drive towards this whole like point of thinking about the game and what's going on with people. There are people, again, that don't give two rats about, power level or whatnot. They just say, right, we want to play with all the cards. We want to play the most powerful Magic. We want to play essentially Legacy Light, but with 100 card singleton format, and with a commander and a color identity restriction or whatever. I don't understand that specifically, but that's what essentially that they are saying. We want to play a 4-player Legacy Light game, basically. That's what we want to play, basically. And then there's other people that are on the opposite side of the spectrum that are just like, well, I opened a whole bunch of these cards in a booster and I've just thrown them in some sleeves and that's my deck, or I found a whole bunch of these cards in the draft chaff pile and I just threw them in some sleeves or whatever, and they're in the right colors. That's about it. Like, or whatever, again, that's like, and then you've got people that are in the middle, sort of between those sort of points as well. But again, I will keep saying that the game doesn't just revolve around those two things, but those are the most sort of important things. Everyone else that's in the middle, like people who have played the game for a fair amount of time and we know we like the game no matter what, or we'll keep playing the game no matter what, we're fine with maybe a few games where, all right, you've got your Narset lock or whatever, cool story, bro. Show us your win condition. How are you actually going to win? Right, okay, cool. Sure, you win. See you later. Next game or whatever. Cool. Right. You locked us out. Well done. Right, kill you next turn, first go. Right, cool. things like that. That's what happens because somebody's just like, oh, you're playing a higher power deck. Okay, we'll just kill you outright if you're going to play that deck again. If you want to play a less powerful deck, all right, we won't worry about it. But some people do go, oh well, I'll play a less powerful deck or whatever. But again, I do think that sometimes people forget to have that conversation of, oh, what's everyone playing, or what do we want to play, or whatever, and things like that. And that should happen. But sometimes we go into games and we go, oh, okay, I can see that they're playing this deck. I know how powerful that deck is. I don't really care. I just want a game. And again, a lot of us go and have our decks, and we all have different level decks. Again, I don't have very many really powerful decks like combo decks or whatever. Anything that locks anybody out or anything like that. But again, that's just me. That's what I like and don't like, and I don't tend to. If I don't like it, then why am I going to play it? Because it's like, well, I can perceive that part of like other people will not like it as much as I don't like it. So therefore, why would I subject other people to things that I don't like, kind of thing? That's kind of also another argument to another thing, which I've sort of said a few times. But again, there's this whole, it's the game. Yeah, sure, it's the game. But again, for us who play the game, or the more enfranchised players, yeah, that's okay to that extent. But again, just thinking about those newer and younger players, if you were to, okay, pull out this deck against your 12-year-old brother or whatever, 6-year-old brother or whatever, and your 20 and your 80-year-old grandmother or whatever, just think how they would feel playing against that kind of thing. Like, they wouldn't like that. And then you're sitting there with your family, the people that you love the most, and they're just like new to the game, and like, oh, okay, so this is what you actually do with people, two people, you lock them out of the game and not able to play, and then just say, oh well, maybe in about 6 hours I might win. Again, that is a really bad way of actually playing. Like, I'm not going to say that's literally what happens, but that's the concept of like what you're doing. You're locking people out, and then you're waiting to find the things that actually say, oh look, I can actually kill you and take you out of the game. So the other people just literally have to concede to this thing, because otherwise the game just goes on until you actually do find the whole thing that you're actually going to kill people with and end the game with. That's the problem that I have, and I think, again, the RC have and whatnot, with these cards and whatnot. They end up to having non-games after a certain point, because suddenly now the game is about the person who has this thing has just won, and yet the game isn't over, and the other players are obliged to concede. Otherwise, the game will go on until such a point as the person who has actually these cards actually does win. So it's just a really sucky situation that comes up, and it's just one of those cards. It's just one of those interactions that I think that the RC wants to avoid. I think that it was good that, to a degree, that they actually let these cards, see play and didn't ban them initially. Like Jeweled Lotus, still a very powerful card. They said that was on their list too, to a degree, because it is, they did say that it's not for CDH purposes. That's why, again, they didn't ban Thassa's Oracle. But again, you have to look at the main reason they banned these cards. And again, I will take an example that Sheldon Menery, I remember saying many years ago, that people said, oh, you only ban cards that you personally don't like. He said, look, how many, uh, what is it? Not Sylvan Primordial. What was it? Not Sun Titan, the other Titan, Prime Time. He said, look how many Prime Times I've got. I've got like 70 or 80 Prime Times, but yet I banned this card and I love this card. That to me encompassed everything that is, you know, his philosophy in the game. He's like, well, I love this card and I would like to play with this card, but you know what? I know it's too good for the format, and for the health of the format, which takes precedent, I know it needs to be banned. So a lot of those guys, and they all have pet cards, and they've said roughly the same thing. I've heard them in many different interviews and whatnot, here and there over the place, saying various different things about various different cards. I can't remember them all offhand like that one. I could remember it just, as I said, because I had to think. But again, they have all these cards that they go, yeah, I really love this card, but you know what? It's not healthy for the format, really. So they know, what's going on, and they hear us. That's the thing. Well, I will use the term us in the sense that we are the community, so, we are all part of this, Magic community, and we are the ones who have got to make this Magic community accessible, fun, playable, and inviting and inclusive for everyone. That's the thing. It's not about me or you, it's about everyone. So again, that's the thing. I think people lose track of, well, I just want to get some games in and win a game and whatnot. Yeah, sure, that's part of it. But again, just just winning isn't everything. Again, I sort of said that in another video as well, but again, it's not everything. I want to sometimes go, you know what, I don't actually want to win this game or whatnot. Again, I actually want to do something silly or something funny this time, because I could win. Oh yeah, I could win. And some people don't like that people can win and they don't win or whatnot. But again, when you sometimes feel like, well, it's just too easy, I want a challenge, or I want something to happen, or I want to see what somebody else's cool deck can do, rather than just going, oh, okay, cool, look, here I win. Or, sometimes you've got to take that risk. You've got to go, okay, I actually can easily kill, this one other person on the table. Then that other person can't kill me next turn with what they have, and then I can just kill them on the next turn. It gets down to that point sometimes, and it's just like, well, this time I'm just not going to do it. I'm actually just going to split up half of my creatures at one person and the other half at the other person, and then just see what happens after that. I'm not going to kill either one of them, and I'm not going to die on the crackback to either one of them, because I've still got blockers or whatnot, whatever. And then it's, about what is going to happen, after that. Again, maybe I have the opportunity, or maybe there's a board wipe, something will happen. So the game will change in those decisions. Sometimes you have to take the option less traveled or whatnot to go, okay, this is harder for me, but it actually pays off in a slower route, I guess, and it gives other people the chance to, show what they've got. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly have a, as fast as I can, reaction to Hullbreacher being banned, and some of the discussion that's going on. Again, it's a difficult thing to ban cards, and I understand their philosophy is to, have cards unbanned and to have the people have the chance to play with them for the most part. They don't want a ban list of 5 million or whatever, half the cards in the format, or even a quarter of the cards in the format, or even 5% of the cards in the format. So they're doing a really good job of that. Only barely even 1% of the cards in the format, maybe even half of a percent of the cards in the format, because there's only like 20 or 30 of them that are banned in the format. It's ridiculous, in comparison to the almost 30 years of Magic cards, that have been released. How little percent of, cards are actually banned. But, let me know what you guys think. Write your thoughts down there on Hullbreacher's banning. Was it good? Was it bad? Are you indifferent to it? Just let me know what you think. Write it down there in the comments below. If you would like to further support the channel, you can go onto our Patreon. You can also get social with us on our Facebook. To follow all the updates, make sure you hit the like button. And on our Discord, to get into it, please leave a comment and I'll send you an invite. All links are in the description. I hope you have enjoyed this video here today, and if you have, please consider liking, sharing and subscribing, and I hope you will come back for another one. See you then.